The global fraud scheme known as pig butchering has cost victims billions of dollars. It begins with a simple, seemingly accidental text message, which evolves into a relationship and then a fraudulent investment. At the heart of this global crime is a dark secret. Many of the perpetrators are not just criminals, they are modern-day slaves. This is a story of selective justice, a story of two Chinese TCO leaders, both authors of immense suffering, but with opposite fates. In October 2025, the U.S. Department of the Treasury designated the Prince Group a transnational criminal organization, or TCO. A U.S. Department of Justice, DOJ, indictment alleges its founder, Chen Zhi, operated a worldwide fraud network built on forced labor. The DOJ indictment details the operation's brutality. It operated at least 10 forced labor scam compounds. This corroborates long-standing allegations. Witnesses at the Prince-affiliated Golden Fortune Science and Technology Park testified that guards would beat them, escapees, until they could barely survive. In one conversation, Chen Zhi allegedly approved the assault of a troublemaker, instructing his men, "We must keep an eye on them and not let them run away, but not be beaten to death." This was an industrialized criminal machine. One executive boasted that in 2018, the operation was making over $30 million per day. Act 1. The domestic paradox, the fortress with three motives. This creates a central paradox. China possesses the world's strictest real-name phone system, where every number is theoretically tied to a real citizen. It also has a state-run, universally promoted National Anti-Fraud Center app, a costly domestic defensive system. This system has three motives. The public motive, public safety to protect citizens from being scammed. The hidden motive, financial stability to stop the massive domestic capital flight of billions, which threatens financial stability and currency controls. The hidden motive, social control. As many analyses point out, the app requires extensive permissions, making it a perfect big data tool to monitor all Chinese citizens who install it. But the fraud industry was not eradicated. Instead, it metastasized into massive criminal enterprises operating just outside its borders. Why is this powerful domestic defense, built for public safety, financial stability, and social control, failing to stop the threat from abroad? To answer this, we must first look at who China's war on fraud actually targets, and who it allegedly protects. Act 2. The A side. China's hunted, She Zhijiang and the Cocking families. First, let's look at the severe A side of China's anti-fraud war, the hunted. Man number 1, She Zhijiang. He is a notorious TCO leader, believed to be the boss behind Myanmar's KK Park and other hells on earth. He committed vast crimes against Chinese citizens, and his fate, according to the latest news from Thailand, She Zhijiang will be formally extradited to China to stand trial. He is one of the Chinese government's most wanted targets, subject of an Interpol Red Notice. She Zhijiang's fate mirrors that of the Cocking four families in 2023. Why did the Chinese government move, via proxy war, to crush them? Reason 1. Public anger. They primarily targeted Chinese citizens with brutal methods, causing widespread public outrage. Reason 2. More critical red lines. They violated the anti-fraud app's two hidden motives. They caused massive domestic capital flight, and their brutality threatened social stability. Reason 3. Lack of value. They were low-level warlords, lacking the political and economic value needed to exempt them from their crimes. Therefore, She Zhijiang and the four families had to be sacrificed to appease public anger and, crucially, to stop capital flight. This is the public, severe A side of China's anti-fraud war. Act 3. The B side, China's Prince, Chen Zhi, the protected. Now, let's look at man number 2, Chen Zhi. He operates the Prince Group, a TCO far larger than She Zhijiang's. His fate, however, is the complete opposite. At the very same time the Chinese government was hunting She Zhijiang, Chen Zhi was being celebrated as a guest of honor in mainland China. For years, Prince Group was lauded as a model enterprise. It was presented as a prominent partner in China's Belt and Road Initiative. In 2021, Phoenix Net reported Chen Zhi had won the International Business Awards Entrepreneur of the Year. In 2022, Prince Group was honored at the China Finance Summit in Beijing with the Exemplary Award for Corporate Social Responsibility, an event promoted by state media like China Daily. Concurrently, the group received high-level public validation from Chinese state and semi-state bodies. In 2019, the leadership of the Beijing Red Cross Foundation visited the group's headquarters. That same year, the Fuzhou Overseas Chinese Federation visited at Prince Group's invitation. In 2025, the director of the Shaanxi Provincial Department of Commerce personally inspected a Prince Group project. Act 4. The Rise of the Prince. Why must the fugitive She Zhijiang be destroyed, while the criminal Chen Zhi gets to be a prince? To understand this immunity, we must dig into the origin story of the Prince Group. According to Prince Group's own propaganda, Chen Zhi, born in 1987, was a business prodigy who was running the family business in Shenzhen at age 3. His first venture was a small internet cafe in Fujian. But investigative reports reveal a very different B-side story. Step 1. The suspicious seed money. Chen Zhi arrived in Cambodia in 2011. Years later, when his shell company Amiga Entertainment applied for an account with the Kaima National Bank in the Isle of Man, the bank conducted due diligence. Chen's team claimed his seed money was a $2 million personal loan from his uncle in 2011. Financial crime experts call this too vague and a huge red flag. When the bank asked for the uncle's name and his source of wealth, Chen's team never responded. Step 2. The political marriage, the key step. Chen's rise was not commercial, it was political. In 2014, he naturalized as a Cambodian citizen, a process requiring a $250,000 investment or donation. In 2017, he was appointed as an advisor to the Ministry of Interior, a position equivalent to a Vice Secretary of State. Just weeks later, he formed a joint venture, Jinbei Investment Company Limited, with SAR Soka, the son of the powerful Interior Minister, SAR King. This Jinbei company then opened massive casinos, turning Sinukville into a new Macau. Step 3. The Belt and Road Whitewash. By binding himself to the family of Cambodia's police chief, Chen Zhi built his political foundation. He then began to launder his image as a geopolitical fixer. He aligned himself with China's Belt and Road Initiative, building ports, real estate, and financial hubs. Therefore, Prince Group was not just a criminal gang. It was a geopolitical asset. For Cambodia, it was a financier and advisor to the Hun Sen dynasty. For China, it was a model student and a proxy for implementing its BRI strategy within its sphere of influence. This is the truth of selective enforcement. She Zhijiang and KK Park was a liability to China. Chen Zhi and Prince Group was an asset. Act V. The core. The allegation of complicity. How powerful was this immunity? As early as 2020, Chinese police, Beijing's 5.27 Special Action Group, had already begun investigating Prince Group, labeling it a notorious transnational gambling TCO with over 5 billion renminbi in illicit income. But what was the result? Investigative reports show that Chinese court judgments were limited to low-level money mules like Guo Kaina, who gave up 4 bank cards and received a suspended sentence. Chen Zhi and his high-level family members were never charged. Why did China's own task force fail to touch him? The US DOJ indictment provides the answer. It alleges this protection was not just passive, geopolitical immunity, but active state-level complicity. The indictment's central allegation is that Prince Group was protected from law enforcement by officials from the Chinese Ministry of Public Security, MPS, and Ministry of State Security, MSS. The specific allegations include intelligence leaks. Ministry of State Security Chen Zhi allegedly boasted of his arrangements with the MSS to be informed of law enforcement actions in exchange for bribe payments. Interference. Ministry of Public Security and MPS official allegedly assured a Prince Group executive that he could get their associates off the hook. Weaponized enforcement. Ministry of Public Security, the indictment accuses a Prince Group executive of directing a Chinese law enforcement official to extort rival businesses. The alleged directive was, tell the police to rob those places, in my companies and my name. Rob them first and then protect them. Act 6. The B-side, the details of the crime. Chen Zhi's criminal enterprise even had a Freudian slip. He famously sponsored a Cambodian action film called The Prey, a movie about a Chinese detective who goes undercover to investigate a cybercrime gang. His real empire was far more brutal than fiction. On money laundering, investigations show he used an offshore shell company called Amiga Entertainment and Hong Kong remittance agencies, not banks, to move over $100 million in unexplained funds, disguised as knockoff video game licensing fees. On the crime parks, his Golden Fortune Park was described by witnesses as a real-life version of the fraud film No More Bets. Guards used electric batons to hunt escapees for a $50 bounty. Victims who couldn't pay ransom were beaten and electrocuted, with videos sent to their families to extort money. Act 7. The climax. The $13 billion Bitcoin rashomon. At the heart of this case is the U.S. seizure of 127,271 Bitcoin, valued between $13 and $15 billion. The U.S. DOJ indictment claims this Bitcoin represented Chen Zhi's illicit proceeds, laundered through a Chinese company called Lubian. However, days after the U.S. announcement, China's National Computer Virus Emergency Response Center, CVERC, released a stunning report with a counter-accusation. Allegation 1. U.S. hackers China accuses the U.S. government of being the real hacker, alleging the U.S. may have already used hacking techniques as early as 2020 to steal the 127,000 bitcoins held by Chen Zhi. Allegation 2. Black on black, the report claims the 2025 U.S. seizure was just the U.S. processing assets it had stolen years prior, calling it a classic black-on-black operation orchestrated by a state-level hacking organization. This claim was bizarrely corroborated by the defendant, Chen Zhi. His lawyer, Matthew Schwartz, stated in court filings they are tracing the Bitcoin that the government seized over a year ago and which was stolen back in 2020, calling the U.S. allegations against Chen seriously misguided. Act 8. The ultimate contradiction and conclusion. Now, all the contradictions have converged. This is a three-way rashomon. The US DOJ says, this is Chen Zhi's criminal money, which we have seized. The Chinese Gov says, this is a Chinese asset that the US stole. It is black on black. Chen Zhi says, the money was stolen, echoing China's claim, and I am misguidedly accused. This explains the domestic paradox from Act 1. The National Anti-Fraud Center app is China's tool to fight public anger, but also to stop capital flight and to conduct big data monitoring. The operator of that app is the Ministry of Public Security, MPS. This is the ultimate irony. Downstream, the Ministry of Public Security is running an app to achieve its dual goals of control and She Zhijiang. Upstream, officials from the same ministry are alleged by the US DOJ to be protecting one of the greatest sources of that capital flight and social instability, Prince Group. The fall of this one group does not end the problem. Global financial hubs like Dubai have long served as the command and control centers and money laundering safe havens for TCO leaders. There, China has neither the political leverage of Myanmar nor the economic ties of Cambodia. By expanding its pig butchering operations to target U.S. citizens, Prince Group triggered an investigation by the U.S. Department of Justice, a jurisdiction it allegedly could not control. Tell the police to rob those places. Rob them first and then protect them.